my friends, as of today, the situation around the world is becoming more tense. Israel has declared war on a new country. Iran and China are assisting Russia in the conflict in Ukraine. The Ukrainian armed forces, in turn, are doing everything they can to prevent them from advancing further along the front line. Before I share all the details, I'd like to ask you to share this video on social media and watch it to the end. It will greatly help promote my channel. Thank you. And now let's begin with the situation on the front lines. I'd like to start with the Zaporizhia direction. Yesterday, closer to the evening, the information about the Ukrainian armed forces advancement was confirmed and one of the maps was updated. Now we can talk about the results of tactical battles by the Ukrainian armed forces in the area of Rabotine. They managed to push the occupiers out of the trenches and positions around the village, advancing on average about 1 kilometer, 700 meters. So it's evident that the effort is focused on expanding their flanks. There is no information about offensive actions to the south yet, but yesterday evening the General Staff reported new Russian attacks in the direction of Rabotine. So it seems they are trying to regain lost positions immediately. Let's see how that works out for them. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers once again failed in their operation in the Staromayorsk area, but attacks have resumed in the direction of Zolota Neva and Prechestivka. The shelling continues as well. In the Kherson direction, artillery exchanges continue. When looking at the geolocation map, you can see evidence of Ukrainian armed forces strikes on Russian positions and equipment in the occupied territory. There are numerous shelling incidents, and the Ukrainian armed forces are actively targeting occupiers in the near-front area. Therefore, there is a likelihood of new advancements in the near future. Additionally, there is information that the Ukrainian armed forces have managed to expand the gray zone around the village of Krinki. A significant number of occupiers and their equipment have been reported as destroyed. So we are waiting for official statements on this matter. Meanwhile, in the Avdiivka direction, intense battles are taking place. Recent reports confirmed Russian advancements near Vodyane, but they haven't made significant progress beyond that. Battles are ongoing in the Avdiivka area, where the occupiers continue their attempts to enter the city at any cost. Attacks also persist in the areas of Severne and Pervomaiske. There is a significant increase in activity on the northern flank, both in terms of shelling and offensive actions. They are attempting to bridge the slag heap and get closer to the coke chemical plant. Battles are also underway in the Stepovaya area, and there have been renewed attempts to breach near Novokalinove. The number of shelling incidents is at its maximum, once again emphasizing that the Russians are sparing no resources and are determined to capture the city at any cost. Furthermore, it has been reported once again that the Russians have a significantly larger number of drones. This is already known to many, and there is no need to hide this fact. New information has emerged today.
Large batches have finally begun to arrive at 1 AK units. FPV drones, we definitely have more of them than the APU. It is true about the tunnels that, according to Ukrainian channels, are digging in this direction. But where, who, where and why, they don't say. In terms of losses in people, it used to be worse. PS on point 3, after the publication of this post, I spoke with a familiar drone. According to him, the advantage in FPV on our part is not just big, but multiple.
Friends, unfortunately, this is true, and frontline fighters have confirmed this information. To the south, battles continue on the outskirts of Marvinka, and attacks on Novomykhailivka have been reported for several days in a row. Although there have been no changes along the front line, the Ukrainian armed forces successfully repelled all attacks, and it has been reported that they seriously damaged a Russian fuel depot yesterday evening. In the Bakhmut direction, the occupiers are attempting to advance in the Klishchiivka area. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian armed forces report that they periodically continue attacks in the Andriivka area and on the northern flank, accompanied by a significant number of shelling incidents. Additionally, they have started launching attacks on the village of Pivdenne. Perhaps they are trying to divert our forces in that direction as well. There have been no changes along the front line, but the battles persist. So, we await further developments. In the Crimea and Syrisk areas, there are at least minimal shelling incidents and the situation has stabilized. However, even though the Ukrainian armed forces may not be conducting offensive operations, the destruction of occupiers along the entire front line continues. It's evident that the Ukrainian armed forces are inflicting more blows than the occupiers. This is why the Russians suffer significant losses practically every day. In the vicinity of Svatovo, the Russians have resumed offensive actions near the village of Nadia. This was reported yesterday evening, and geolocation maps also shows that the Ukrainian armed forces continue to target occupiers, destroying both their equipment and personnel in the Nadia area. We await the outcome of their latest attacks. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russians are facing a complete failure. They continue their offensive towards Sinkivka, but according to preliminary information, they are even losing positions, and the Ukrainian armed forces are pushing them back. Attacks have resumed near Ivanivsk, and they are making incursions into liberated territory. But the Ukrainian armed forces are preventing them from establishing a foothold and repelling all attacks. We will wait to see how events develop, but it appears that the Russians are facing a complete setback in this area. Meanwhile, in Crimea, things are getting interesting. There is a smoke over the Crimean bridge. Russian Telegram channels are sharing footage of the smoke-covered Crimean bridge with traffic currently blocked. However, the cause of this event is not yet known. Russian authorities hope that it's a smoke screen and they are conducting training exercises on the bridge. Meanwhile, local social media accounts are reporting panic and claiming that rockets have flown in the direction of Peninsula. Additionally, protesters stormed the US Congress during Secretary of State Blinken's address. The protesters repeatedly interrupted the Senate hearings, calling for an end to the violence in Gaza. One man shouted, "Stop the fire now and save the children of Gaza." Later, 4 other demonstrators and another group of protesters disrupted Blinken, chanting, "From Palestine to Mexico, all walls must go and long live Gaza." Among the attendees were other demonstrators with red painted hats. It's worth noting that Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and Blinken are testifying in the Senate to argue that the United States should immediately provide assistance to Israel and Ukraine.
From Palestine to Mexico, all the walls are gotta go! The committee was suspended.
Mexico. All the walls have got to go. Palestine to Mexico. All the walls have got to go. Palestine to Mexico. All the walls have got to go. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire. Ceasefire.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.